So, a little over a year ago, I was at a flea market not too far from campus. While I was wandering around the long aisles, soaking in the weird smells, and freaking out at people wrapping snakes around them, I picked up this cool NASCAR diecast with a Monsters Inc. design, based on a real-life one that ran in 2001 to promote the movie. In terms of motorsport, I wouldn't say I'm a huge NASCAR fan. I'm familiar with its culture, history, personalities, and some of my favorite movies include the Cars trilogy and Talladega Nights. But I can't imagine staying through 3 hours of
You're making a left turn!
After this interesting find, I wonder if there were more cars like this, sending me down a fun little rabbit hole. So today, we'll talk about some fun and maybe not so fun designs on NASCAR. And best of all, we're gonna rank them! From top to bottom, we got straight up gas, out of sight, pretty tight, just alright, and no. Bottom of the list means it's ugly, top of the list means I don't just want the diecast, I wanna own this puppy! So boogity boogity boogity, let's go racing! Starting off, we got not one, not two, but 3 designs in 1999 to promote Toy Story 2. We got a yellow Cheerios car with Woody, a dark blue Hot Wheels one with Buzz, and this green McDonald's one that's a little bit of everything. RC, Ham, Rex, Buzz. Again, I think they all look pretty great. From a video I saw of the race, none of them performed very well. In fact, Woody didn't even finish. But that doesn't mean the designs are bad. I think they're awesome. Honestly, I gotta put Woody and Buzz at the top. It's the iconic duo. NRC, while a little busy, doesn't look that bad. I'm putting him in pretty tight. Following them up, we got the one that kind of started it off, the Monsters Inc. car, with a really cool blue, white, and green design with Mike and Sully on the hood. It's not quite as attention-grabbing as the other ones, but I still think it's pretty tight. And back to the Toy Stories for a second. While I was finding footage of them, I also saw this one for Crash Team Racing. I never knew NASCARs were sponsored by video games, and I thought it was pretty cool. This one goes into Out of Sight. I think it looks great. But Crash isn't the only one that sponsored a NASCAR race. Of course, we gotta talk about the main man, Mario. You know, the most famous kart driver of all. The one I'm including here was to promote Mario Kart 8, and it looks okay. I would prefer if it looked like a kart from the game, you know, red with an M on it, and there's really not much to say here. It goes into just alright. But let's not forget the fastest icon in gaming who doesn't need a race car, Sonic. In case you weren't aware, Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed had Danica Patrick, of all people, as a playable character. And she actually drove this car to promote the game. Couldn't really find good pictures of it. I think it's tight. But this is not compared to the one for Team Sonic Racing. With Sonic and Shadow on the hood, Sonic on the side, come on, what else could you ask for? This thing is straight up gas. Next up, we got 2 based on The Incredibles, starting with this Black 5 one for Kellogg's. It just features the characters on there. It honestly just looks like a kid just got his Incredibles sticker sheet out and slapped them all over the car. Not terrible, but honestly pretty underwhelming. It's going to the bottom, I'm sorry. But this one more than makes up for it. This awesome Tide one with Elastigirl all over the car. This one screams Incredibles. It's got the color scheme, it's got a character on it. It looks awesome. It's going to straight up gas. Of course, we can't forget the film franchise that introduced my generation to the world of motorsport. That's right, I'm talking about Cars. And you best believe all 3 movies got a NASCAR design. Starting out with this one for the first movie, it's like if Lightning was a real car. Aside from Lightning and Doc being on the hood and being numbered 96 instead of 95, this is a real Lightning. This thing's going to gas. It's so cool. The one for Cars 2 takes a different approach. It's mostly blue with Lightning Mayor on the hood, and hey, look, it's Francesco on the back. It's not as out there, but it's still pretty solid. I'll put her in pretty tight. The one for Cars 3 kind of does the same as the first one, but it doesn't really look as good. Not bad. I mean, it still looks alright, but it just doesn't really have the same punch to it. It's still just alright. Moving on to the skin that actually has its own name, the Fantastic Car. Made to promote the 2005 Fantastic Four, and this thing, pun kind of intended, it's straight up fire. It's so cool. Also, side note, am I the only one that doesn't hate the 2005 film? I mean, it was kind of goofy, but I had fun with it. Looking forward to the new one, though. That one's going to be pretty cool. Maybe Pixar 1 or 2 more times. We had design for Finding Nemo, starting with this really cool Kellogg's one. It's got a nice ocean pattern on the side with some black trim, and Marlin and Dory hanging out on the hood. But someone's missing we gotta find. Who could it be? Oh, I know! Bruce! This other one looks a bit more Nemo-ish in terms of colors. Orange and white with blue, and Bruce hanging out on the hood. These both go pretty high. I think they're pretty cool. Continuing our trend with the fish movies here, we got
Shark Tale, baby!
We got this little Net Zero one. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that a shark mouth on the bumper? That's awesome. Come on, that goes way up there. The other one just has Lenny and Oscar hanging out. Sponsored by Great Clips of all things. It's alright, it's cool. Of course, let's not forget DreamWorks' big icon, Shrek. You best believe this guy's been on NASCARs. Heck, he's been on everything. You got this orange and green Home Depot one. I think it's alright, looks cool. You also got this green one with Shrek just peeking on the hood. They did the same thing with Hulk, and they look fine, they look okay. And rounding out Shrek, we got the Shrek the third one with an M&M's design. Really, the most they did was just have the Shrek logo appear on the M&M on the hood. It's alright, but really subtle, if anything. One time they ran a whole race just to promote a movie. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie had its own NASCAR race, with both Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch driving designs with SpongeBob and Patrick on the hoods. I gotta say, these are awesome! You got Jimmy's car with SpongeBob's on the hood and he's surfing on the side, and Kyle's featuring Patrick on the hood and SpongeBob shivering at newcomer Dennis. These are amazing. I would have loved to see these in person as a kid. Living proof that you don't need a license to drive a NASCAR. So we got another trilogy here, but not in terms of movies, but in terms of sponsor. Throughout 2012 and 2013, Jimmy Johnson drove 3 cars as part of Lowe's Build and Grow series. You got Madagascar 3, Monsters University, and Planes. None of them really look that great. The Madagascar one in particular is pretty ugly. But at least the Planes one has a cool design with the clouds on there. They're not ranking very high. I'm putting Madagascar at the bottom. This thing's kind of hideous. But to bring the mood back up, here's a really cool Spider-Man one from 2002, made to promote the first movie. And I gotta say, this thing, absolute peak. It is so cool. From one superhero franchise to next, we got this really cool Batman one, with a blue design and the logo on the hood.
I'm Batman, I'm awesome, I got a 9-pack.
We also got this Superman one, and ew, why are there pecs on the hood? Get that thing away from me. Other than that, it looks alright, I guess. To bring the mood back down again, here's one for Smurfs 2. Why would anyone want to drive a car with these creepy designs on the side? Ugh. Here's probably one of the older ones on here. It's a really cool Scooby-Doo one. Purple design, Scooby on the hood, Shaggy on the side. Honestly, how can you not like this? Side note, anybody remember the episode of What's New where Fred became a NASCAR driver and they started playing Smash Mouth music? Peak fiction. And while not a movie, this is probably the first time I've seen a ride at a theme park sponsor a car. That's right, it's time to bring out the notorious T-Rex. A Jeff Gordon car that ran one race and then was pulled for being too OP. That's right, this thing is Brawl Meta Knight with a dinosaur on the hood. Of course I gotta put it at the top. And this is one I just found pretty funny. The movie Jesus Revolution had a car. Really brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, Jesus take the wheel, doesn't it? You know what, this thing doesn't belong in straight up gas. This thing goes into holy tier. There was also this one for Passion of the Christ. Literally all they did was just put the movie on the hood. Pretty underwhelming. And we have 2 cars literally taken straight out of Talladega Nights. Like, not to promote the movie, they literally are the design. What could be better than that? This is awesome. We also got one from the movie Speed Racer. Looks alright. I mean, it doesn't translate perfectly to a NASCAR, but I still think it looks cool enough. And rounding off, we got probably the biggest franchise of all time, Star Wars. And you best believe they made a lot of skins, especially for the prequels. You got this Two-Face sword design where one half is the dark side, the other side is the light side, and that is creative, that is cool. But nothing tops the legend that is the Yoda car. This thing, not only does it look awesome, not only is Yoda the absolute GOAT on the hood, this thing won a race. That deserves legendary status in itself. And I gotta say the same for this Indiana Jones one that also ran a race. It looks cool, and it won. These guys deserve top tier. Oh yeah, there's this really cool Pirates one too. He goes up there too, he's awesome. And there's kind of my list for now. I might do more someday, who knows? If you can think of any other cool designs, let me know. Thank you for watching, and stay awesome. And remember, if you ain't first, you're last.